This obelisk to Andrew Jackson Lamar is probably the finest monument in Oconee Hill Cemetery. It was done by Lonitz of New York. And I did not know of Lonitz's stature in the sculptural world until I started doing the Maker's Marks tour of the monuments of Oconee Hill. And then I discovered that this was a really superior workman. Andrew Jackson Lamar was one of 3 children of Zachariah Lamar to survive childhood. He was one of 13. Only 3 survived. 2 of them are buried in Oconee Hill Cemetery. But when Andrew Jackson Lamar died, he was a resident of Lowndes County, Alabama, and that's where he was buried in 1848, and that's where his body remained for 52 years until it was moved into Oconee Hill Cemetery along with the grave of his little son who had died 2 years before the father. And this move was made in 1900 because by that time all of the family had returned to Georgia from Alabama. In fact, they had come back many decades earlier because his widow and little children returned to Athens where her parents lived. She was a Jackson, and her father was the man who supposedly willed the tree to itself, our tree that owns itself, because they lived across the street from it. She returned a widow with 2 children, and then later married her cousin, Howell Cobb's younger brother. So 2 of the Lamars married 2 of the Cobbs. I've always had great sympathy for the workmen that would have moved the individual pieces of this monument down the hillside behind us, in front of us, into this location because it's very steep terrain, and the only way to have gotten here was with human labor bringing these individual pieces down. But if this were clean, it would just be resplendent with all of this carving. The ribbons, the flowers, just everything about it is a very fine sculptural piece.